Hey. So welcome everyone. It's such a delight to have you here, and I'm excited about our plans today. I created a whole new piece for us based on the poll last week. So that was fun. And want to suggest a couple long breaths. Stay unmuted for a minute if you'll unmute. And let's just take some big, deep breaths and let them out with a sigh and hear each other. Ah. Another full breath and let it out with crazy sounds. That's fun. Let's do one more. Crazy as you can get. Thank you. You can go ahead and mute now if you're ready. It's fun to hear all our sounds. So, encourage you to ground, really allow yourself to ground very deeply into the earth. And because we change so quickly now, it seems wise to release your old grounding, maybe every few days. Give it to someone who might need it if you wish, or just let the earth absorb it. And then sink deep, deep, deep roots into the core of the planet, or into a vein of tourmaline or crystal of some kind. Oh, let your roots find a way to link into the earth so you feel really rooted in the earth, really like the earth is there to ground you. Yeah, it's a relationship, you and Gaia. And then on your in-breath, imagine you can breathe up that earth energy. Let it spiral up your center. It loves to flow up with the Kundalini and nurture and nourish all the chakras. Letting go on the out breath. Breathing up earth energy and Kundalini. Maybe a little undulatory movement to encourage that to flow up and nurture all the chakras. On the out breath, let it fill your body with grounding energy. And once more, breathing up earth energy, Kundalini. If you lift and lower the pelvis floor, it will help the Kundalini join that earth energy. Let it spiral up your core. Releasing, letting go on the out breath. Now with that deep grounding, allow yourself to open to your being as if you're expanding through the crown and the upper chakras like a tree blossoming or growing into the sky, and you're blooming into your being. Calling for the light from the heart of your own soul essence to flow in. Breathing in that light on the in-breath, letting go on the out-breath. You might imagine your inner eye is looking up into the third eye and out to the crown, calling in more light from the heart of your being. Let it spiral down your core. It also can nurture and nourish the chakras. the downward spiraling serpent. Full in breath, calling in that light. Spiral down your core, follow it in, take up residence, core of your body. If you're sitting in the seat of power within you. If you want support for that, you could ask for archangels to surround you, one on each side, one behind, one in front. And when their vast hearts are open, they're like 6 feet across. And so you might notice you're sitting in a lotus flower of archangelic light. And allow that to support you in activating your own light body, as if you're turning on your light in every cell. Your being knows how. Getting right into your own light body. Just notice how that feels. The light to arrive in every cell. It's always there. It's you become aware of the light that you are in every cell. And invite your light body to inform your pain body, to up-level the physical through informing your pain body from your light body. And imagine opening even more to the highest level of your being, that is spirit, untouched by any incarnations, pure essence. So you feel you as spirit. You're encompassed in your light body, in a sphere of archangels, fully arrive in now, supported by heaven and earth, the love of the divine that moves through all of us every time we tune in. And if this state of consciousness feels good to you, add it to your anchor. However you're touching your body to anchor these higher states of consciousness. Anchoring light body, angelic support, deeply grounded, connected to spirit. Must be. Ah. So bless yourself. Thank yourself for being here. You deserve praise just for opening. Yes. And let's do our check-in. What's alive for you? Progress on your intentions, wins, challenges, whatever you wish to share. And who would be willing to time for us?
I can time.
Thank you. 1.5 and 2.
Okay.
Thanks, Carrie. And who would like to go first?
I can go first too.
Great.
That helps. So my intention was to release rushing and hurrying and forcing energies. And so I've been able to work with that throughout the week. Even though it came even yesterday, it's like been daily, this old pattern and habit of mine. And like today and yesterday, I'm like really not even allowed to do it anymore. It's like I can't even, if I'm trying to, it's like I can't function. Like I was like knocked out and had to take a nap. And I don't really take naps because I'm usually doing. And Spirit's like, no, you're not in the energy of creation. We're knocking you out. So I had to like reset in a nap time. And I've been like resting and moving slower. And my son's at camp. So I've like wanted to get everything done while he's at camp. You know, I pick him up tomorrow night. And then I'm like, why would I put that time limitation on myself? That all has to be done in 3 days. Like, this is ridiculous. And I let it go, and more flow is coming to me. And in this, I'm also really setting the tension of more like collaboration and co-creation, and was able to connect with another sister at this water festival so that we're going to play with. So I feel it all kind of coming in, and it's like my job not to push it and force it. I'm telling you, it's like challenging my whole way of being, to letting it to stay and flow and ease. So that's my check-in, and I'm creating more spaciousness to do more of the light language energy work. So that's what's also coming. I'm letting go of the old clients and new. So I'm at time and I'm open to loving.
Yay.
Thank you. Mm.
And who's next? Liv?
My intentions have been to work less, or work not as hard, and to have more me time, to do fun things, to have joy. So I'm finding that the working less is or differently, I should put it, is working and shifting it. And my clients don't care at all. In fact, I don't even think they notice. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Why didn't I do this 5 years ago? So I'm enjoying that. And I have an art class again tomorrow. So I'm excited about, creating. I don't know what I'm going to do. I like creating space. I don't know about drawing and putting things on paper. So we're working with different mediums to see what I like playing with. I'm thinking mosaics would be fun. So yeah, I'm working with that. And now I'm getting frustrated with the meditation part. So that's more going to be this week, is really trying to figure out how to quiet my mind. And I mean, I've done lots of workshops, I've done lots of stuff, but I want to really focus seriously on that in the next few weeks. So that's where I'm at. And I would love some love. That feels so good. Thank you.
Who's next? Hello?
So I am working on this allowing of love, and it's going really well. I've been in so many relationships in my life, and it's always been from an energy of truly burdened energy that results in anxiety and questioning and wondering and all sorts of energy that's not fun. And so I'm just having this really new, different experience that I've never had before. So I'm just here. I'm like super present, and I'm just checking everything out. And this like sensation of allowing is very different than the energy of control and figuring out and that whole other path. So that's just feeling really amazing. I also haven't talked about this much here yet, but I'm launching a new mentorship program for teaching therapists and practitioners how to do internal family systems therapy with psychedelic assisted therapy. So it's my little niche of joining those two up. And so I just launched it last week, and I've hardly advertised it, and I've already had 3 people sign up for it, which I just think is magical. I'm like, wow, if I can barely even announce it to the world and that's happening, I'm just like feeling so excited. So I can only imagine what will happen when I finally put myself to the task of doing that. So it's just feeling really great. But yeah, so it's just, I feel like I'm in this really beautiful space right now of just being really present, and yeah, it's good. And I'll take some love.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next. Lucinda.
So I've been working on life balance, and the past couple of years was focused majority on work. And then before that, it was all spiritual. And so I'm merging and pulling them together and weaving them and finding ways to be highly functional in both dimensions simultaneously. And magically, I'm making progress. It still feels a little awkward, but it's happening just organically when I'm not thinking about it. But setting the goals and being a part of this group has been a huge advocate for me. Each morning when, or at 12 o'clock noon, at the very end of morning when we do that first meditation, tears bubble up. And so I know that I'm back in my heart space again and shifting into the heart, into the head, and back and forth. I feel like an energy Jedi, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. I'm just feeling so much gratitude. So that's it. And I would love some loving.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And next. Jasmine.
Oh, it's alive for me. I'm in a very quiet space. However, this morning I just had a new carpet installed, which made me very happy. And I've been sitting with this week, I've been just really in a witness state a lot, like watching what's happening in my life and sitting in inquiry about where I am in my process about this modality that I want to bring forward and radiant health for life. And I haven't been in action about that. And I was meditating the other evening on it, and spirit saying, no, you're doing the right things. You're getting your grounding together. I actually have an amazing contractor who's going to come turn my my garage into a rental. And things are just proceeding really beautifully with the grounding part of my life right now. It gave me this whole picture. It's like I'm working hard on creating the grounding in this space. And the garage should be done within a few months, and then I'll have like the perfect space to really unfold this in. So right now I'm sitting with the process and watching myself, and I've been watching myself to the thoughts I tend to have about myself. Okay, thank you. Noticing how I'm still hard on myself. Like you don't need, like I talk to myself like, you don't need to say these things to yourself. You're in a good place. All is proceeding the way it should. and I don't need to be hard on myself. So that's all safe for now. Thank you so much. And thank you all. Last week was amazing, amazing. It's been gifting me all week. So grateful to all of you.
Mm.
And yes, I would love to. Thank you. Hmm.
Yay. And who's next? Olivia?
Good morning. Oh, I still feel asleep today. So my intentions for last week were to really call in more people who want to work with me with creativity. And I think it's in process. I put out some shifts and changes in just the way that I'm engaging with the world on the internet, and kind of in my messaging. So hoping that will support more work that feels more aligned. I had a call yesterday that just felt so unaligned. I was like, okay, yeah, it's really clear what I don't want. So come on in what I want. Yeah, I think that's all for this morning. I would love some loving though. Thank you.
Diana?
I feel like I don't really have a whole lot to say, but I have been feeling like I've been getting things done and watching movies, which has been fun. I also signed up for Mind Valley to do the Silva mind control thing. I had the book out for the longest time and then I couldn't find it. And now I found it again, but I decided to take that course. I remember back in the 70s, a lot of the CP teachers in Texas had studied with Silva doing the mind control things because it was taught in Texas for primarily at the beginning. Anyway, so something had been in the back of my mind for a while now since I found the book and I had it there for me to read, and it was a little difficult to read through. And then, of course, with my rental property, I still haven't contacted my real estate agents, but I did do some research on Zillow yesterday, and it looks like the sell prices of the houses around my rental property are all over the map. So it's a little hard to know exactly what to do with it, but the fact that they haven't contacted me makes me feel like they don't really care a whole lot right now, which is fine. So it's just kind of one of those things that's kind of sitting there. We'll see what to do. And I would love some love. Thank you. Oh, I take it all in. Thank you so much. Yummy. Thank you.
Yay. Nina.
Hi. I never know what to say, so I'm like, let's see, it's been a good week, and yes, I agree. Setting the intentions is very good because it makes you much more accountable. It's interesting when you were saying challenge. I had a session, and it potentially could turn into something very life-changing for me, actually. And it was amazing because this person had asked something on the side of that. And when I was working on tuning in see what was going on with her animal and her son, it was like a blank wall. And I was like, oh my good, like, because there's always something that comes in, whether I see it, feel it, hear, whatever the case is. And it was just, wow, what's going on? And as I think it was being attached, too much being attached to not disappointing this person or not the outcome. I wanted to make sure that I did the best that I could, or that it was perfect, I guess, which, you know, it's perfect, but so it was interesting because it's brought up a lot of emotions and a lot of stuff for me. So which is good of working through. However, and then, you know, I was like, okay, let's walk away, get into nature, and then just kind of sink in and have no attachment and release all of that. And then it was amazing of what came through. So it was a very big lesson, or learning to not have attachment, which I think we all know that, but you know, it's something that yeah, comes up, I guess, to assist me in moving forward and on this journey as to where it is that you know, I'm going. And I know with whoops, okay, well, I just saw the time, so thank you. And I'm open to love.
Hmm.
Ah, thank
Yay. So I'm glad so many of you had a good week. It was really challenging around here. I have a couple people that have a lot of cancer, and cancer is really strong right now. Cancer sun. Apparently this next few days it's going to be very intense. So it's been a lot of breathing and grounding. Still working on hiring my person. I thought I had one, and nope. It'll come. So getting patient. The exciting news in my world is I'm meeting with a woman here who's really wanting to evolve like a membership, or like a mentorship, where she wants to get my legacy. She says she wants to sweep my porch, get my legacy, and create an opportunity to really share it. And so it's going to be for advanced tantric practitioners, people who want to either be practicing tantra, teaching tantra, want to grow it in their life. And by invitation, like this has been, because I love working with people who are so ripe and ready and using the work. And so that's exciting. I had kind of thought, well, I did my 20 some years of teaching tantra, and I guess it's done, because it didn't come with me when I moved. And Spirit has another plan. It's being revived. It's coming in at a whole new level. I'm excited and a little nervous. It's like, oh, being really acknowledged as an elder is quite a trip, but I am. So I'll get used to it. And I've made it clear that I'm willing to do it if she does all the work. She's going to create it in a way that other people can also teach through it. So it's kind of like like my original thought about the hub of alchemical love, only focused on tantra more, where people can offer their work and get feedback and support, and an incubator. So that's fun. And I love taking your loving in. Oh. Thank you. It's so fun. Everyone asked for it today. We're learning the joy of oxytocin through Zoom, which is what I think of this as being. Okay. So I want to take 1 minute before I start and go get a tea bag and my tea, because I didn't get the tea bag. I was rushing because I don't have staff support. And I'll be back in a minute. Called self-care. There's selfish and self-care. I think self-care is so vital.
Evelina,
Yes,
may I ask you a couple of questions about your share from this morning?
sure.
So, what if this beautiful person that's coming forward to do this scheduling and pulling everybody together for this new Tantra legacy route, what if she's your new assistant, meaning that all of the work that you're going to be doing with her could become a huge lion's share of your work, and some of the other things that you needed assistance for will no longer exist and kind of fall off your plate?
Well, it's an interesting seed thought. Tonight I'm meeting with the person she's suggesting become that person.
Awesome.
And she's already coordinating a whole lot of things. She's amazing. She's teaches end of life paperwork and works with death training, death literacy. So
Well, maybe that's what that is an arm off of her.
yeah.
That maybe that's that connection. So I'm really excited to hear about this Tantra thing, because that's what I was pestering you about when we had our first phone call.
Uh-huh.
So please keep me in the loop with all of that. I'd love to hear more and more and more and more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure will. I'd love to hear more too. Thank you. Your question has started some wheels turning somewhere. So thank you. We'll see what Spirit has in mind. Sometimes I follow. Part of how I got where I've gotten is I never knew how to tell God no. And when an opportunity comes, and whether or not I feel ready or I feel I know how to do it, if it comes and it feels spirit-based, I've always been a yes. And ooh, I've stepped off a lot of precipices. This feels like the next one. But that's how you learn how to fly. So the world is full of chaos, right? Feels like so much pain and suffering. And yet what Buddha said is suffering is optional. Whether we take it into suffering from what's happening to us has so much to do with our thoughts and with how much we access these higher realities like our light body. So the thoughts create, I think that can be used as a bludgeon. How did I make this happen to myself? You can beat yourself up with it, or you can go, oh, if this is happening, what thoughts am I following? Because there's always many options. There are the ways you've done before, the old ways, and they're kind of these ruts, these grooves, neuronal pathways that are laid in place by the way you've been thinking. And those are easy to follow because you're used to it. But there's always other pathways too. And the thoughts you choose to follow, choose what pathway you're going to follow. One might be a little easier or a little more fulfilling, and another might be more challenging, but way more fulfilling. And another might be the steep path up the mountain. When you begin to follow other thoughts consistently, the mind, the neuroplasticity of the brain is such, it deconstructs the old neuronal pathways and uses that to build new ones. That's why they say, if you do a habit for 3 weeks, it becomes your way of being. So it's really watching your thoughts. Maybe it isn't always stilling your thoughts, and that's wonderful in meditation, but also becoming the witness to your thoughts. So I have an example of thoughts creating reality. I was at a party in Marin, and Sonoma County actually, and California, and I knew probably 40 of the 60 or 70 people there. And I just started looking around thinking, nobody here is interested in me. In fact, nobody here is interested in anybody here. We've all ruled each other out. I got so depressed. I just wanted to curl up in a corner or go home. Nobody would talk to me. I'd walk up to people. They wouldn't engage with me. Nobody noticed me on the dance floor. And all of a sudden I went, I don't like what I'm thinking. What do I want to think? I am well-loved, well-romanced, beautifully received, honored and respected, and people love talking with me. The party shifted. In a movie, it would have been like this wavy line. It totally changed. All of a sudden, people were talking to me. They were dancing with me. I'd walk up and they'd include me. They'd come to me. I had a fabulous time. Different set of neuronal pathways. So in any moment, the thoughts we follow or the stories we follow is what can create the reality that we have before us. And one way to transmute a consciousness that you're not enjoying, and you just get to be the witness. When you're the witness of what's happening, then you're in your seat of power. So I don't like the consciousness I'm in right now. What do I want? One way to do it is to up-level consciousness. So if you activate your light body, that will shift your experience, because your light body operates off another vibratory pattern than your usual in the world body. So I've had to really work with this. I've had some accidents, including getting hit by a big rig truck. And most people who've had my experiences would not be very mobile. I dance 2 or 3 times a week because I know I have to keep moving to keep moving. And there are times when I walk or dance that my body is telling me how much pain I have in my knees. So I start dancing on my light legs. I feel my light body and I send it all the way to my feet when I'm hiking. And it's like, whoa, I got a little far here. This is a long ways back. Okay, light body, walk me back, walk me back. And I'm just really conscious that my light body can inform my pain body. And I'll even say to it, light body, please inform my pain body that we've got this. And it works. The pain gets a whole lot less. Sometimes when someone is thinking of me and they've got pain going on, I might get a sudden headache. And it's usually right here, which actually I had an injury in that accident here. That might be part of why it comes in there. And if I tune into my light body, I can transmute it. I can fight it and go, not mine, get out of here. No, clear, clear, clear. Or I can become my light body and it doesn't attach. And then it's easy to just go, So these are the resources we have. There are times I might wake up tired, or sometimes I have a hard time sleeping, or I have restless legs at night, and so I don't get very good sleep. And I'll just, before I even get out of bed, tune in to myself in the quantum realm. Touch that light that I am. and bring it into my body. Some days I feel like I need to operate on light, and we can. And why not? So there are times I go into a session and I just feel I can't quite show up for it. And I'll just say to my guides, I'll often say to Babaji, Babaji, I need you to be me today. And he does a great job of channeling me. So he may even do the invocation. And it sounds like me, and then he comes in. So, this is that leaning into spirit that we can do. After one of the car accidents 2 or 3 years ago, I was in so much pain in my rib cage. I thought, how can I ever sleep? And my beloved on the other side of the veil said, meet me in the light of my love, of our love. Meet me in the light of our love. Can you hear me, Diana? A little louder? Let me turn it up. So he said, meet me in the light of our love. And I just felt that. And it was like somehow I could slip beneath the pain and sleep. Transmuting reality. I think the more that we work with ascension and spiritual activations, the more you find that you can choose the reality you want. You can find that higher path. And yes, with ease and grace. Doesn't have to be the hard one, but a higher path, and follow it. And you do it by what thoughts you allow to continue to have residence in your mind. In other words, whatever thoughts you're doing, you're renting the real estate of your mind to them. So be a witness to it. Go, do I want to be thinking that? What do I want to be thinking? Create new thoughts and your reality will shift. I have a bumper sticker I've been wanting to reproduce. It says, the universe rearranges itself to fit your picture of reality. And it's happening all the time. So you want to put out the pictures you want. You also choose reality by what stories you listen to in your mind or release. So I'm really hard on myself, or I tell myself I'm not good enough. If you've been hearing the same inner voice saying the same thing hundreds or thousands of times, quit listening. Quit giving it your attention. You can invite it to repurpose. So whatever that voice is that is yammering at you all the time, it's very vigilant, watches everything. And often what we do in therapy or in readings is we'll get in touch with a judge or a critic and praise them for their vigilance and how on duty they are and how diligently they work, and ask if they'd like another job. And very often they'd be happy to. It gets boring, especially when you keep trying to not listen. And so you say, I'll listen to you better if you do just the opposite job. So you're good at catching me doing everything wrong. Would you be willing to focus on catching me doing everything right and praising me? You can be my cheerleader. And they almost always say yes. If they go, well, I don't know how to do that, then you ask if they want an angel or guide to train them. Let them choose someone. It can make a big shift. And also you can choose reality by your spiritual practices that up-level your consciousness. So the Bija mantra that we've done is one of those. I do them before each of our gatherings. And then I often go into other sounds. So it might sound like the Bija mantra. You can just do it with me if you remember. I'm not going to pull it out, but just big breath, Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Om. Do that with me. Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Om. And then the energy gets really big before I'm leading something. So then I use the nonsense, the whatever I need to blow some off. Find my grounding again. Yeah, it works. I also might say to my guides, beam me up, lift me higher. Babaji, bring me back up to fifth dimension. I think I fell down to third again. Bring me up, bring me up. The other is about finishing incompletes. We've done some of the soul retrieval. Whatever consciousness just stays in your mind, whatever scenes from early on continue to kind of haunt you, that's a good place to go retrieve your energy. And that will allow you to be more in current time and be able to reach these higher states. So I want to talk a little about quantum healing tools. The quantum field is not a location, it's a state of consciousness. It always exists. You felt it probably in some of your more rarefied states. If you've had a meditation and you arrive at that magical place of just feeling one with all that is, then that's touching into the quantum field. You may have reached it in therapy or lovemaking. It's one of the beauties of the ecstatic life is that Tantra, lovemaking, breath work can take you into that unity consciousness where you're in touch with the quantum field. When you tap into the light language, to the quantum field, I was reading my notes. When you tap into the quantum field, then you have access to the most amazing light that can bring healing to all manner of things. And I feel last week when we had the privilege of being a part of that light language and receiving it, that many of us touched into the quantum field. And when we were channeling, some of us touched into that. My understanding of the word spirit is it lives in that quantum field, in that state of consciousness that's unscathed by incarnations. It's always pure. Soul can be polluted. And there are times I'll have people tune into their higher self or their soul, and there's some kind of soul pollution. And I get the strangest answers, like, no way. And then I know, whoa, we're not talking to the real soul here. And then what I want to do, if I'm asking permission to work with them, is I call upon the radiant heart of their soul, most aligned with the heart of the divine. And then I'm reaching above where that pollution is. And sometimes get permission to help clear the pollution. What that comes from is unresolved past lives, probably, or even I've experienced it where a being in the fifth dimension without an earth incarnation wanted to make an alliance with other beings to try to evolve more rapidly. And it got them all tangled up in a mess. And so sometimes it's quite a thing to untangle these soul pollutions. But if you get an answer from someone's higher self that doesn't feel like a higher self, doesn't feel like their true soul, reach higher And you may not get permission to do anything about it, but at least you're hearing what the true soul is wanting. If that makes sense. Carrie?
Can you give an example of how to reach higher? Like by asking the soul to go to the purest form?
No, what I would do is say, I call upon the radiant heart of this person's soul, most aligned with the heart of the divine. And I wish to speak to that pure essence of their radiant heart. I just ask for it. And then I'm able to hear, or the council, the guides can hear what's coming from their true nature. And that's also how you heal soul pollutions, is you work with that and the guides. So you're working from, you might say, top down, the quantum realm down through other levels. Yeah, good. So one of the ways, so because the quantum realm exists, you call it in, or you call yourself into it. Kind of like you activated your light body, but it's not like you reached out and brought it in, right? You just let it come alive for you. So it's becoming multidimensional to where you can be in your light body, you can touch into the quantum realm, and then we go back to more ordinary consciousness, but always informed by the journey. So I want to see if Liz, her internet went down, so sorry. Trying to get back on. We have heavy fog here today, maybe the why, I don't know. So let's just send some tech empowerment energy to Liz, that she's able to get online for the rest of our time. High tech teams, get busy, get Liz's internet working. Thank you. Sometimes you gotta work on that as well. If somebody's internet isn't serving in a Zoom call, I'll call for digital help. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you know, how life is. So one of the ways of working with this quantum light is the scalar wave activation. So I thought we would do that. It'll give you this tool. And this is from Cindy Dale, CNYDIDALE. Her work is phenomenal. I've taken thousands of workshops. It's rare that someone has something really new for me, but she does. She's really good. Shift Network supports her. Yes.
Can you spell? Did you say scales, like as in music scales, or
Scalar wave. It's SCALAR. SCALAR. Scalar waves. There's a lot
waves?
online. There's even
Thank
scalar
you.
waves machines that people, one of my folks that I work with is hiring another to do scalar wave activation of her mood disordered son, and it seems to be helping. Yeah. So this is really simple. We'll just walk through it.
Can you spell her name again?
Cindy, CYNDI.
Okay.
Last name Dale, DALE. Yeah. Yeah. Her work and Jean Houston, I really encourage. Jean Houston, and that's JEAN. She's 85 or 6, but she says she stopped aging at 59. I think it's true. She's been a mentor of mine since 1978. And I did her quantum healing class. And some of what we'll do is from that. She also is just extraordinary. You could do her mentorship. It's $3,500, a little more than mine. But she's great. So, scalar wave activation. This is how it goes. First of all, I'd like you to each acknowledge your spirit. Acknowledge spirit in you, that place that's never touched by incarnations, pure essence, exists in the quantum fields, quantum realms. So acknowledge my spirit, and we each acknowledge spirit in each one of us. So acknowledging each person's spirit. Whoa. And we acknowledge, can you feel it? We just connected in at spirit. Beautiful. And we acknowledge spirit in our radiant guides and angels. Pure essence in each of us. And we acknowledge great spirit, creatrix of all, source of all that is. We acknowledge great spirit. And we call in from great spirit scalar waves of grace. And just imagine from great spirit, from the heart of source itself, are these flows of these waves of grace, brilliant flows of light and love from the heart of source itself flowing through us. You can ask those scalar waves to grow in size and flow through your space, flow through your home, flow through your life. And let them wash through you, wash you clear. Dissolving all in the way of being in your light and your light body. So it's aligning with that in you, which is source, and letting that which is past or other be washed away. Offering the scalar waves of grace, any anxieties, any ways you've harmed or harmed yourself. Offering all that is less than light. And let these scalar waves up level you, your consciousness, and your body, all your subtle bodies. And thanking Source, thanking Spirit in all of us, bringing your consciousness back to yourself, receiving and being. If you have anything you want to share about what you noticed with that, brief shares. Welcome back, Liz. We sent digital help to get you back on. What was that like? What did you notice?
I noticed with the scalar waves, it almost feels like rain. I felt this pureness just kind of come over, like the way you feel after a rain. It's just the space clears and kind of the mist and beautiful feeling.
Beautiful. Great imagery. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. So I want to share another piece of working with the quantum field, and this is from Jean Houston. She talks about quantum healing because there is no time or space, right? We believe in it because we operate as if the third dimension's real, but maybe we're learning it's not the most real of the dimensions. And so in quantum healing, I want to say one more thing about scalar waves. It's a beautiful process to do with certain clients or friends. And what Cindy does is just the simple way is you acknowledge their spirit, you acknowledge your spirit, you acknowledge great spirit. And so you're working spirit to spirit to bring through this. It does feel to me like a light rain, like it purifies. Yeah. So quantum healing, you have something in current time that you want healing with, you want to shift in. And let's say there was a time in the past where you were really in your spiritual practices, or you felt really loved, you felt what you want to feel in this situation now. And you can imagine a time in the future when you feel that. So you get very grounded. When you want to do quantum work, you get really grounded in now. You have to get completely present, or it's best to. So you're not an ego that's comparing past to future, because the ego has a way of erasing now. I'll say to someone, perhaps you could do such and such. Well, I don't know if I know how to do that. The ego just took that future, pulled in the past, and erased any possibility in now. And so you want to get out of ego into in your light body is a good place to do it from, but into now. So then you tune into that time in the past where you have the wholeness that you want. You imagine that, and then you imagine pouring it into the situation today. You just literally gather up those qualities and characteristics of, oh, I remember being grounded and in my practices, being in love, being totally safe, being extraordinary, being inspired, whatever you're seeking. And then you pour that into now, and you breathe it in and let it become your reality today. Then you go into the future and you envision a future where what you want is already real, already happening. You totally experience, I'm fulfilled, I'm grounded, I'm doing this work, I'm loved, whatever it is you're seeking. When that gets really bright and clear, you pour it into now. You breathe into it as if those experiences are your now experience. Does that make sense? When I did the Femifesting, there's 9 Femifesting videos, and they're a version of that with the future reality. So in each one, we did about a 5-minute grounding so that we could get people in there. So totally in now, we could use the quantum field for the shift that's wanted. And then when they're really grounded, sitting at the altar in their heart, we transport them into a future reality where what they most desire is already accomplished, their future self's living it, It might be in a different parallel universe. It's not always in the universe where they're living. So we transport them into that parallel universe and help have the future self show them their life and how their dreams were already realized. They get to feel the confidence and the competency of those dreams realized. And then they can ask their future self how they got there. And then we have them stand up and merge. And they take in at a body level that competency and confidence. So they get to feel what it's like to have that embodiment. And then we bring them on a rainbow bridge back to the one sitting at the altar in the heart. Bring all that with them and invite them to allow guides and angels to recalibrate their energies to current time informed by that future. So the Femifesting for financial abundance is available to you free on the website, but I think it's also posted in your group. So if you want to do that, that'll give you, it's a 25-minute process, which is why I'm not guiding it here, but it will give you an experience of working in the quantum realm. So in 1979, Jean Houston was doing something called the theater of the possible. And one of her exercises that's led to these developments, these innovations that the council and I've created, was she would say, when we see something we want, or we look toward an event or an experience, we tend to look forward with dread. The tendency is to look at all the things that could go wrong, or all the people might not like it, and they might not know how, and all the fear-based stuff. So she'd say, okay, so go ahead and see that. And we'd look at some situation and see what stories our mind is mocking up about it. And then she'd have us go back and see the same situation with everything coming out beautiful. So now we're looking forward with hope, with seeing ourselves connected and guided and doing it really well. And then she had us go back to the same situation and make it come out stellar. And now you're seeing yourself in your full glory, really connected to the divine, and the words that come out of your mouth are just golden, and people are hanging on them and loving them and asking more and delighting in them. You see, that's also working with the quantum realm. That's calling in the reality you want, rather than living the one that the conscious mind or the smaller mind makes you think is possible. So I'd love any comments, questions. Heather?
How do you differentiate? Because it feels like that it could go either way of spiritual bypassing and ignoring the healing that really does need to occur. So how do you help people have discernment around, when to pay attention to what's there that does need attention for healing? And then I believe there is a space and time where we call in beyond our wildest imagination where we can go, right? So I think they coexist, but I think there's a huge temptation to just go here. The reality is this stuff will keep coming up if you don't ever take care of it.
Right.
Right. So any wisdom on that? I just feel like spiritual bypassing is such a prevalent and easy thing to miss.
Good question. Part of how you notice the difference is energetically, thinking with group mind a minute, that you can feel the difference. You can feel, are they in their body? Are they bringing the light in, or are they just going out? So spiritual bypass is rather than using the light resources in the body, it's just wanting to disappear into them. The other piece is, I feel there are many times where it's necessary to work things through and to touch the pain. But I also feel, I've learned over the years that if people just keep abreacting, they used to call it the pain, just being in the pain, it can start recycling. And then they're just in their pain body, and that's not serving. So I think it can go either way, of too much of one or too much of the other. So I'll often have people touch the pain so they know what's happening and feel into it, but then I watch for ways to transmute it so they're not living in it anymore. They're not denying it, and they're not living in it. The pain body gets attention, but it's not running the show, so to speak. I think the big difference between this quantum realm work and spiritual bypass is that first we got really grounded. And so we're linking who we are here to the resources, to up level. If I'm working with people, I'm really watching, are the changes happening in the body in real time? You know, in some ways, people might think the soul retrieval work is like a spiritual bypass, except what we're doing is we're pulling the soul essence out of the trauma. So that we don't need to keep reworking the trauma because we're retrieving the soul essence from it. So that touch the pain, see what's going on, to me now, more and more just allows me to help retrieve that part. Early on in therapy, that wasn't nearly as possible, and it wasn't my training. But I had a very interesting training in working with ritual abuse survivors and multiples that was run by people, they were called multiples then, with dissociative disorder, dissociative identity disorder, where they would say, you take someone in to abreact the pain, and you build it really big for 1 minute. And then you say, okay, now come back to your light. And I thought, if these people can do it, anyone can. So I started searching for ways that would allow people to still clear that depth of pain by not bypassing or ignoring it, without having to just relive it. The first person I worked with from ritual abuse, we went through so many memories over and over and over. Not the same memories, but so many. It was so painful. And I was willing to be there with her. Now I work with similar memories by retrieving the part from the memories and just reconstituting the core self more and more. So is that helpful? Other questions? Comments?
I am curious, I don't know if it's now, but I am curious about the breath work that you bring into the Tantra. I don't know if we'll ever get to that in this part, but I just wanted to, because you mentioned it as a way of getting to the quantum.
Interesting.
I'll just put that out there. if it resonates.
So the breath work I think we'd be talking about would take a little bit to teach.
Okay.
It's really accessing Kundalini and learning to play with those serpents, to bring it up through the core and be able to raise your consciousness that way. So how many would be interested in that in one of our times?
Yeah, 1, 2.
Well, that's pretty unanimous. Okay.
I don't know if it's the same one that is done in like I don't know the names of the different kinds of breath work, I guess. So I'm just curious if it's the same or different than, or the one that goes.
Yes, it's different.
Okay.
Yeah. It's undulatory breathing.
Angulatory. Okay.
Yeah, and it works to move Kundalini. What I find best is there's 5 elements. This is just your teaser. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
The elements are the breath, very deep 3-part yogic breath, imagery, imagining like a wave of Kundalini, and I like to use the hand to help move it, and undulation, because it's serpentine. So you learn how to undulate from the hips up. And sound is an important part of it. And the PC muscles, working with the perineum, because that's the pump for the Kundalini. So we could have a lesson in that. That'd be fun. Yes? Okay. We get to write this however we do. We wrote today. Okay. So soon I want to take our break and have the rest of our time with the council and our guides. And I believe we want to practice channeling again today, right? Yeah. Yes. Yay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's come back at 35 after the hour. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to stop the recording?
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
So welcome back. Lucinda coming on in. So I am looking forward to sharing our channeling today. So let's begin. Looks like you have someone who wants to join you for lunch, Olivia, or breakfast. Oh, I want us all here. There we go. Thank you. I like having us all present. So breathing, grounding, once again, allowing your light body to light up inside you. As we ask the angels and archangels, please create for us a crystalline temple of radiant energy, crystalline temple of light all around each of us, all of us, and this work. I ask that you clear and cleanse all energies not of the light from around any of us. And weave for each of us our own chrysalis of radiant light, filled with the rays and vibrations needed by each person here and our work. God, Goddess, source of all that is, please encompass in so much radiant light that only beings serving love, light, and truth may participate in any way. Deepest healing and highest guidance is received. If you will, breathe and ground, invoking the radiant heart of your soul, most aligned with the heart of the divine, and ask that it assist you in receiving all you need, becoming a clear, clear channel for this work today, releasing all that serves as you breathe in your light and light from source. I welcome into this sacred temple the Council of 12, and I welcome those beings from the heart of the light only who are guides or loved ones for anyone here. Greetings, dear one. We greet you, we welcome you. We notice that a kind of practice that has been helpful lately when we're coming into channel is the felt sense of Evelina tuning in, almost like hooking up her skyhook to a radiant place in her being, to her quantum self, to a spirit, if you wish. It's kind of like she calls that, then her small self goes into more of a quiescent place, and she's linking into higher mind, and that makes it easier for guidance to come through. It often seems, and may even look to others, like the guidance is coming through your mind. Your minds are great. It's not like we need to get rid of the mind. We want to make use of it for whatever, shall we say, whatever vibratory level we want to explore at the moment. And for channeling, that's quieting the small mind, the conscious mind, and opening the mental faculties to work with higher mind so that the guidance can come through your mind without being necessarily of your mind. And that's when it's fun, because then you're learning as you're speaking. You're receiving the transmission and feeling the power of it and letting it also inform you while you're speaking. So, dear ones, we very much wish to invite all of you to let your linkage up to get strong, and know that there are many radiant guides here. They've all been, shall we say, vetted to be sure they're worthy of being a part of what we do today. So as you're ready, we'd like someone to offer an inquiry, something you would like responses to from others in the group. And then whoever wishes, you can all tune in, see what wisdom wants to come through you. Okay, Diana?
I have been looking for guidance about what to do with my rental property. It needs a new roof. I don't want to spend the money. It needs a few other things. I want to sell it as is. It's priced too high at this point. But the other questions that came up is I could use it as an office, or I could rent it again. There seems to be a dearth of rental properties in Enid, Oklahoma. So the question I have for the group is, what is the best guidance to do with this rental property? Thank you.
Tuning in. And in this case, really allowing guidance to tune into the heart of Diana's soul, asking her best guidance. As you feel guided to share, please do. Nina?
When you first started speaking, I was receiving an image of all this static, like just unclarity. It was just a lot of static, which is probably why you're asking where to go. I was also hearing, why is it that you think it's too much, price too high?
We priced it high because they wanted me to pay $5,500 of the buyer's closing costs. And so that way they would get higher profit, and then it would go down to the price that they felt like it should be. You know, property is cheap in Enid, so it's just I would love to have someone who wants to come in and buy it as is at the price it's at, but the likelihood of that is less likely. Not impossible, not impossible.
I mean, it seems that your thoughts are actually creating your reality.
Yeah.
So if you think that, you know, I would used to sell real estate and for a long time and still kind of do, but there's a buyer for every house. There's a buyer for everything. And it's just putting it out there. And as Evelina was saying today earlier, manifesting who that buyer is and what it is that you want. I would also make sure that the space is very clean and clear of anything that could be still hanging around that possibly does not want it to be sold.
I do question whether the realtors are on my side anymore, because I had a buyer and I basically wanted out of the contract at a certain point, but and in the end, because it needed a new roof and I chose to not replace that roof, that's the buyer backed out at that point. And so now I feel like they're not putting the, you know, I wonder what they say to people who are looking at it, because there's a lot of people looking at it.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, hopefully they're standing in integrity for you. However, that's something that I think that you need to be clear with for that.
Well, I plan to spend some time manifesting on this particular issue, but again, I want more clarity about it. Should I sell it as is? You know, I mean, that would be my first choice probably, just to get, because I was ready to get out. I can see Carrie shaking her head, yes.
And I know and this is not channeling, but I know coming from a real estate perspective of everything that's going on here in North Carolina, and I know friends in California and other places, everything is being sold as is. You're kind of at a buyer, I mean, the seller is at the advantage of setting the price and asking what you want. So I think it's just kind of being really firm in that decision if you really do want to let it go.
I do want to say
Oh,
that.
wait, hold on. We're moving away from channeling.
And I will stop now.
And that's great advice. It would seem that maybe the two of you could have a conversation around that. Because it seems you know markets and changes and et cetera. And let's make room for channeling to that question. And thank you for your input, Nina.
Thank you.
Heather?
Yeah, my immediate sense was, well, what do you want? And then you started answering that through the conversation with Nina. And so there feels like a sense of, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Like, know what you really want, and that's the answer. It's the sense I'm getting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How does that land for you?
That sounds great. And I'm trying to work towards that in my mind. So, because the markets in Enid are very different. They really are. And so I wish it was like everybody else in the country, but and I still think I can call that in. So working
Good.
towards
Thank you, Heather.
that. Thank you.
What else wants to come through? Jasmine?
I've been hearing the word attachment attached to this. Like there's some attachment to the home. And I'm also getting, there's heaviness around it and some level of attachment to that heaviness that maybe you've gotten used to dealing with it, and a heaviness of dealing with it. And it relates to some heaviness. It seems that you're carrying that if you were to release, that would help. That's what I'm getting.
Thank you.
An inner, how does that, land?
It's possible you're also picking up my relationship with the house I live in.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
well, go ahead.
oh, I'm seeing it does look like there's like heaviness around your shoulders, kind of a gray energy. If you'd like to imagine hooking that energy up to source and asking source to lift it off of your shoulders, lift the weight of too much responsibility, of the heaviness you've been sitting with in relation to these things, it may help it shift. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh.
Uh-huh. Mm. Yeah. When you
Here
touch
with
someone
you.
that much, you just ground, just, yeah. Uh-huh. Let this wave.
Yeah, it's okay to just cry, let it go, let it go. It doesn't have to be your heaviness. It doesn't have to be part of you.
How about try breathe into it?
Yeah, through your breath, you can call in some golden light into your body with your breath. Calling in golden light. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's just.
We're with you.
Yeah.
We're with you here. You deserve the lightness of being. You're so worthy. We're with you.
Or mentoring might be to check in and see what's moving in Diana. And you want to do it really gently. When someone's crying, you kind of wait till the wave is coming to a slower place. And then I'd love to hear what that's touching in you or something of that sort.
Okay.
So that she's engaged in this next piece.
Okay, thank you. So I'm curious what's moving in you, what in you is responding to my words.
I am living in my mother's house. I moved in after she passed away. Her too much stuff and all my too much stuff, and I've had the weight of all of that, the stress and the responsibility I take it on as being a steward. And this has been since 2004.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just, it really touched a place in me, the heaviness. And I feel like I might be crying the rest of the day. So I want to go ahead. There's just so much stuff still. I can't, I have to keep reminding myself of how much I've done. But there's so much stuff. I tend to ignore it. Unless someone's here working with me, I don't tend to do the work of starting, organizing, getting rid of it. There's just still so much that has to be gone through, and I'm ready to leave Enid and get out of this house. It's not my home. It never has been. I want to leave and be somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm ready to let it go. But there's still so much work ahead of me.
There's so much work someone needs to do there. Your mother had a lot of amazing things. You want to steward them. And how many of us want to help Diana let herself out of this prison?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we're here with you.
Yeah.
We care very much about you and your happiness and your soul and your freedom.
Oh.
We all love you.
Yes.
We want to see you free.
Thank you. I'd like to mute myself and just process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing with us. Yeah. And let's all clear the air, clear the space. I think I'd like to give my Evelina opinion to your processing. I'd love for you to let go of everything that holds you to Enid, including the rental. Sell it as is, get it moved, get freed, and get moving on. I know how long you've wanted it. That's from me. When I give a personal opinion, I want to name it. Okay. Lucinda.
So I wrote this down at the very beginning. I'm practicing waiting.
Okay, but we want to check because Diana said, I want to mute myself and just process. Do you want more input or would you like to have us move on?
I suppose, yes, absolutely. If there's more input, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you. I feel now that I did all that, I feel a lot better.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yes, Lucinda.
So Diana, the message that came through for you is that the rental property is actually a symptom, meaning that it's a smaller component that will be released once the inner longings that you have are tended to. So these inner longings, the words that came through, are wanting to belong. How does that resonate with you?
Yes,
Feeling of wanting to belong.
right. This was the town I was born in, but I didn't actually grow up here, and I often feel, I mean, I know a lot of people, but I also feel like I'm not quite fitting in.
And so
And
spirit,
my own family is kind of not that friendly, I guess.
so spirit is asking you to imagine the place where you belong. Create it in your mind's eye. And as you begin to step into the place where you're moving to, all of these other details are going to be like little puzzle pieces, and they're just going to drop completely into place, because what they're showing me is it's going to be really easy. You're actually not going to have to do everything, right? Everything's going to fall in place.
That's been my experience in the past, so yes.
Yes, it will. It's
true.
waiting for you, and that one block is feeling completely supported in the human experience of a community. So it's almost as if once you decide where you want to move to, where you know where you want to go, then all of these things are going to be like a river. They're going to flood, and it's going to be like the house is going to sell. You're going to auction off all your mom's stuff, and it's going to happen so quickly. It's going to just be like, wow, amazing for you. But what Spirit is asking you is to focus more than 75% of your time and your energy and your thoughts and your heart space and your meditations, less on the realtors and the real estate and more on where is your home? Where is your new home? And begin to live in that new home. And as you begin to live in that new home, all of these other pieces, this heaviness is going to just fall off.
That's still a question for me. I've been thinking of Asheville, but we've lived on the East Coast and considering a lot of places, and I haven't actually visited Asheville yet to see how that feels when I'm there. So that's another question. Where should I be?
Well, what if it's an exploration? Enjoy yourself, go travel, meet, go places, do it.
I'm ready
and
to
see
do
what
that.
feels right. You're not locked to this house, even though it feels heavy, but that's not the truth. That's not the divine truth. The divine truth is that you are free to roam and go wherever you would like to go. And when you connect with belonging, feeling as though you belong, you'll know. And that is what is right for you right now. That is what is waiting for you, calling you, energetically waiting for that alignment of energies to snap into the belonging for you. It's a spiritual journey, not a real estate journey.
Right.
Is what Spirit is saying. It is a spiritual journey. It is not a real estate journey. The real estate will fall into place once you're spiritually and energetically in aligned with what is home for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That totally rings true with my past experiences. Absolutely.
It's big. It's a big one.
Yeah. I think that the heaviness and the responsibility has kept me uncharacteristically stuck in one place, which is very much not like my life in the past.
Good things that's past, yeah. Yeah. That channeling felt very clear, Lucinda,
Thank you.
and reframed it in enough ways to get around the but I don't know to here's the core of what needs to be known. Lovely. We also want to comment, Jasmine, what you were doing was took a right to the heart of something important. That's the beauty of channeling. And you may not even know how you touched it or what touched it. Where we interrupted was when we hear you don't have to, that comes in as negative. And you were meaning to say you can be in the light, but it was something that you don't have to separate yourself. If you want to, all of you, just get conscious of that. That's the way our society speaks. You don't have to, or I'm not ready, or I don't want that, all the negatives. But when we take it out of the language, then people get to hear what they can do. And all the rest of your channeling was that way. There were just two phrases, so we kind of stopped it right there for a moment. Yeah. Very right on, folks. Oh. So shall we complete with this and take another inquiry? Okay. Thank you, Diana. Your vulnerability is exemplary. Next inquiry. This and then Carrie. Unmute, please. You're still muted, Liz. You can just press on the space bar and hold it down, and that unmutes. There we go.
Sorry, here I was, blah, blah. My inquiry is my intentions are to move to the Big Island in the next year with my boyfriend. We were going to move sooner, but he's in intelligence and dealing with the war military anyway, so it will be probably another year. My question is, I have a lot of guilt about that. My family is in California. One family is in Santa Rosa, the other one's down in San Diego. So I've been kind of weaning them off of me. And of course, I've been here 45 years, so Evelina, a lot like what you did, I'll be completely removing myself from that which is known to me for a long, long time. I'm excited. I really feel like I'm done here in Sonoma County, that I just don't feel alive here anymore. And I'm wanting to start a new life, gardens, animals, water, nature. So I just want some input on how that feels, if anybody's getting any hits on that. That would be a good intention for me.
Good. Tuning in, looking into your third eye, opening your own light and the light of your guides, highest, brightest, clearest. Carrie?
Oh, I celebrate you, dear one, and your knowing. Why do you doubt yourself?
Guilt, family.
Mm. Are you willing to offer and bring that and transmute that to the light? Or is it something that wants to be packed and brought with you?
I would much rather transmute it and bring it to the light.
Mm. You are worthy of that, dear one. You're worthy of that.
Thank you.
And even now, if you desire, we can just start feeling that old programming of attachments and those storylines of what it looks like to be in those family patterns. If it feels okay, and just kind of even moving those energetics from within your own DNA and the programs. It feels so there's a little bit of ancestral in there. Is that something that you resonate with?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's deep, like there's sacrifices to be made for the family, even though it may not be in the highest good.
Right. Yes.
So we celebrate you as a way shower and one to transmute those old cords and energies, if you so desire, and just even allowing that to move from the body into the hand. All those generations of that construct of love, of self-sacrifice and duty and obligation, being of the old ways, which was stories constructed, not necessarily the truth.
Right.
And we also bless it, love all that, those ways, what we've learned from playing in those realms. We've learned so much playing in the realms of obligation as humans. So we can harvest. If there's anything for you to harvest in that, just kind of check in.
Okay.
Is there anything that wants to be harvested from the realms of self-sacrifice, obligation, of showing love? Is there anything that happened for you in that playing that way, in that way?
Not that I can come up with. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My screen's not okay. Not that I can come up with. I mean, I feel like I've done a lot as the matriarch of the family, and it's my turn to move forward with something I love and want to do and be in my power and my truth, which is not where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel complete. Not that it's ever over, but I feel complete at this portion of my life to be able to move forward for myself.
Beautiful. Yeah, so if when you're ready, you can do it now or in another moment, just like bringing all the old programs up.
Okay.
And transmuting them to love and offering them with the light or the waters or Mother Earth, or sending them back to God, whichever way feels good for you.
Okay. Thank you. That feels good.
Okay. We celebrate you, dear one, and trust in your knowing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful transmission. Yeah. And the question in the beginning can be really helpful, and then finding that next level like you did, and then the transmuting.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So many channels simply, or past life people, identify where the issues come from and leave it. And our sense is always, well, then offer it up, release it, let it go. And if people do, then they have less to work with, less they have to work on. And the difference between that and spiritual bypass is, if releasing it doesn't finish it, it'll be back again. But so many things were done. So that was great.
Thank you.
Who else has a transmission for Liz?
I'm really struggling with knowing where things are coming from. So I just want to kind of name that. And it seems to be easier to write than to speak. But what and they're spraying water to the left, and you're like pruning this bush to the right. And there's this sort of flow feeling, and that it was all accessible right now, and that all you need to do is to show up and arrive in this place and yourself to live there without being in a realm of time, and like the call's there for you to answer. So I don't know if that resonates at all, if that where that's the source of it, but that's what came through.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some of that was a little
Yeah,
hard
hard.
to hear. Was there anything you want clarity on?
It was hard to hear from you.
Oh no.
Well, it was
Also,
cutting in and out, so I was having a hard time following it. But thank you. Thank you. I got the essence of it. Thank you.
Sometimes when we do a lot of this in front of the camera too close, that seems like that makes things cut out. So your hands were between you and the camera. I don't know if that's part of why it happened, but
okay. Well, it's written, so I'll send it. And if it resonates, it resonates.
Thanks.
perfect. Oh, that's so nice. Are you reading it?
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. It was very clear. And that's that quantum work. Go ahead and arrive there. And then you'll move. Kind of what we were saying to Diana. Go ahead and arrive where you belong.
Oh, I'm there. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm already there.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any other transmissions wanting to come through for Liz? Jasmine?
At the very beginning when you were speaking, I saw a boat. I saw you getting on a boat and taking a trip. And a lot of it is about just letting the family, like separating yourself from everybody and just going and being in your own space and just going somewhere to enjoy yourself for you.
Yeah. I'm laughing because my boyfriend 2 years ago wanted me to sail with him over there. And that was when COVID was going on. And he's a special ops guy, so he can fly and drive and do whatever, right? I get seasick. He went alone, needless to say. 13 days he sailed by himself to Hawaii. And I still get sick thinking about that if I would have been on that boat for 13 days. So yeah, I'm not getting on any ships or boats. But I get the idea of sailing away or away, but all I could think of was being seasick. But thank you. I get it. Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Being in your own
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So let's clear the space. And I told someone they were next. Who was that? Carrie? Was that you? Okay.
So what I'm observing in my life is that when I'm ready to kind of move into more creation energy and like working with like doing my website, like like creating in the new energy, like I go into a frenetic state. It's really buzzy and pressured, and like it has to be done, and then I create silly stories like I'm not a tech person, I need other people to do all these things for me, and I lose the fun and the joy of what was coming in creation. And so I'm really ready to release that old pattern and that way of creating. And I was just wondering if there's any support or guidance for me in doing that, like for me to really step in creating in this new way with spirit and having fun and effortless and easy and bringing it to the world without that kind of forcing, efforting, pushing, freaking out, and running around like like a chicken with their head cut off.
Great. So tuning in, looking up into your third eye, into your higher consciousness, inviting your highest, brightest, clearest guides to help bring through you the message that wants to come through you. Diana?
There are so many ways to hire people inexpensively to do these types of work. It doesn't have to be a struggle. In some cases, maybe $5, I mean, or 10, or maybe you want to spring for someone who has more experience. But there's many different websites now where you can hire people job specific to do the things that you're not good at. And it will allow you the time to be free and to be creative and to have fun with the things that you are good at. It's like hiring an assistant with a job specific. Complete.
Will you check how that lands?
How does that work for you?
It brings in more freedom and fun. And that's like, hell yes. Now I just wonder to find those people or find the person.
Canva is a good place to start, CANVA. But there's other websites, I'd have to look them up.
Oh, can you say that one again?
Canva, CANVA.
And I have some leads.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm open to those leads from anybody. Yeah.
What else is wanting to come through? Nina?
As you were speaking, I did see like spirals, like the vision of spiraling. But then the vision, the clouds opened. And I saw an image was being shown of a bulletin board and like playing leapfrog as doing one task at a time. And so making it easier. And just some laughter around all of that. So how does that land?
Yeah, I feel like you're really tapping into my playful energy, like how to make it more fun. Like I'm seeing that could really support me, like how I organize it in a playful way, and I get to play my game every day, and it keeps it in a game, like a board game kind of way. Yeah. Yeah, I really yeah, you're talking to my soul. She likes to play. Find ways to play with the tasks. Yeah.
And feel that as validation, Nina, that
Mm,
that's when you're really tuning into the person,
yeah.
when you speak in their psyche's language. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
Who else?
I'm just echoing Nina. Again, mine came through in writing. Seeing crayon and paper, red writing, there's like this big piece of paper on the floor. You're in a state of play and it feels good for you at ease. Before you tapped into a consciousness of a society, like a societal fear of creativity. And so the message was play first, play always, change the medium that you're working with, let yourself know that you get to do what resonates. Does that resonate?
Yeah, I love that. Again, yeah, you're tapping in to the playfulness and how we bring in these new creations in new ways that aren't so serious, but yet have large impact in what's possible. Yeah, kind of like a trailblazing that way, like what's possible with crayons and staying in that energetic vibration.
Yeah, it was you on like a kitchen floor, sitting on the ground, like it's just like your child.
Yeah. And that feels really good, like to be kind of like there. I get the vision, I get to map it out, and then I can offer that to the transcriber or the person that brings it to the next level. But that's maybe how it comes from me to then the people I hire.
Yes.
And I don't have to like be the translator of that language to the English language.
Or the digital language.
Yeah, or digital. Yeah. Yeah, whenever I have to translate to sounding smart, I get totally lost. That's what I call it in my head. Like when I have to like translate what's coming through to like a professional language, I like get kicked out
Huh.
of my like it just kicks me out to translate to the digital website bio language. I'm like, it kicks out my essence.
I just heard speak and play language.
Maybe that's my tribe. It just reminds me of this one vet I worked with, and he's like, promise me you'll never talk in doctor language. Like, I love you just the way you talk. And he would always say that, like, can you write a book in like the way you speak, not like a doctor would speak?
Mm.
So that's just coming back. That memory is coming back to me.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Felt right on. Who else? Jasmine?
This keeps on coming through that you have some very sacred Native American elders with you, and to ask them, they have a lot to share with you. They have a lot of wisdom. There's so much they want to bring to you. It's like they're kind of tapping you on the shoulder. Tell her we're here. You know, like we're here for you. We want to help you do your work in the way that you want to do it. You can always ask us. We have so much to share with you.
Are they giving you any specific ways I can connect more deeply with them? Because I feel like I can feel them as well. or what I can do to be able to better listen.
The first thing that just came through is we are your family. What I was hearing them say is you're like a master already. You kind of got this. An earth ritual. I see water too, running water. Like maybe going to a stream or a creek, running water and calling to them. You can also use fire, using the elements to ritual. They'll come to you. They're so excited to help you with your venture.
With my what?
Venture, that's the word that came.
Venture.
What you're going to accomplish.
Your venture.
Venture.
Venture. Like adventure. Yeah, those are the words.
Thanks.
How's that?
Feels fun to explore that with them. Thank you.
Yeah,
We're bringing in
yeah.
extra support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their family, they're with you. They're really here for you. It's just so strong.
Good. Notice how that felt, Jasmine, to not just identify they're here, but also let them give some guidance through you.
You're asking me how that felt.
Yeah, just
Sorry, I'm feeling.
notice how that felt, because by you letting them through you, it felt like Carrie got a link. It built a stronger link.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're really like, they're here with me. Like I feel it in my third. They're like coming through. Like we have energy. We have power for you. We can give. We can support you. We are here for you. And yeah, the water is strong. It's running water and calling to the elements. And what I just hear over and over, we are your family. Like it won't be too hard to connect once you do.
Excellent. Thank you. So anyone else have a transmission here? When Olivia was saying, do what resonates with you, the words came through here of, and hire the rest. Almost all really on their game kind of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs we know, they have coaches and they have website people and they have good IT folks that they can call, and rather than try to learn all of it, stay at the peak of your game, what you're best at, then you can put your energies into developing the content, like you were saying, and let it get translated into the world. I built most of the content on my website, but someone else made it gorgeous, made it transformative. So beautiful. Ah. Is Diana, is that about this or another?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget who it was, but they said, talking to entrepreneurs, if you haven't hired an assistant yet, you're behind. You gotta hire an assistant. You gotta have a team,
Mhm.
and that way you can focus on your, the purpose, and let the team help you bring it into fruition.
Probably also true about clearing out houses.
Yes. Well,
I couldn't resist.
I do. I have to hire people to help me, or I don't get it done a lot of times.
True for me.
I mean, some of it's very expensive though, so it's a, you know.
You're buying a life. You know,
Well, true.
we hire things done that you're not getting done, that pull on you all the time. It may be expensive, but you're buying your life back from those activities. Reclaiming your life. Yeah. Yeah. I've put a lot of money into salaries for the people. And I just love what I've evolved out of it. It's worth it. And I've supported other people. That's good too. So let's clear the air. Good work, y'all. And we have time for one more inquiry. Olivia?
So I have this sense of there being another person's energy in my third eye area. And there's a sort of blockage that's been there for several months. It used to be really easy for me to vision, and it just hasn't been lately. So I wanted to see if there's any thoughts about how to support clearing it out.
Tuning in, opening into the light of your being and the guidance. What wants to come through about clearing the third eye? Diana?
It feels as if there may be someone in your life that wants to connect with you and doesn't want to let that go. Obviously, one thing that can be done is to remove cords and burn them in the violet flame so that that energy goes back to source. So that person frees up your energy and theirs. I am not getting who this person is or why they want that connection with you. Do you have any more information about this person?
Well, there's two people who I feel like I can't tell whose energy is whose. is a former lover who very much wants to stay in that relationship.
Have you asked them to leave?
Mm-hmm. And so that door is closed, it's not opening back up.
The angels are willing to help you with this. They need your permission.
Yes.
So you can ask them directly to assist you in clearing this energy. You don't need to know their names. You don't need to know their job. There's many unnamed angels that are quite powerful. They're willing to assist you. You can call on the archangels, but the unnamed angels are very powerful. And I always ask God, because God knows who to send. I don't need to know.
It feels like you were in, like maybe you dropped into yourself a little, Diana. You were saying the angels can help you. Can you guide that in some way? Can you just?
I felt as if she needs to do this for herself. I may be wrong in that regard, but that was the sense that I had.
Okay. We get sensitive to you don't need to know the angels' names because it went to the negative. And curious when it does that, when it goes to what you don't need to do. When I find it coming through, I want to just reach a little higher to see what does want to happen.
You should ask for the highest angelic help that you can receive this time.
Mhm.
I see a very bright light descending from the heavens into your third eye. And it's just blasting it clear in all directions. Not only does it clear out the third eye, but it surrounds your entire being. Giving you a cocoon of bright white protection all around you. Ending in the heart. It's a beautiful pink, protective love energy. And you are blessed.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good. How's that landing?
Really beautifully. I could feel like sort of some tingling here and then a little bit just kind of in the heart area. And it was really nice to receive that invitation to really call in those angels to do that work.
Thank you for reaching higher, Diana, because that really took it to another level. Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone else is wanting to share. Who else wants to share? Who else has a transmission? Carrie?
Yeah. I can do also some light language if that would feel supportive.
Please, yes.
So just taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Shaya saya kataya ria haya saya rikia soriki motokaya motaya katoshikia. So she's just saying thank you, thank you, thank you for making this request and opening to know your worthiness. And I'm humbled to support you in this moment. Ayasha Kaya Motoya, she bows to you, dear and holy one. Ayarikia Shaya Mohotaya Kashaya Taya Kata. Yashomohitikia Sakaya Taya Mo Toyashikia Somota. And she's praising you for your knowing of you, and wants to really support you in that you know. Ayashahia taya kamotashkia taya koto tashakia mohokaya. It's similar to what Diana's getting. She wants you to fill yourself up with your light and love. To do your own clearing. She's not letting me do it. She wants you to do it. She wants you to do it, dear one. So the invitation is just really breathing into your truth, connecting to your truth, to your love, to your power. And it's starting to radiate from the heart, from the heart, from the heart. Letting it move through you, moving through you. So standing in your power. More. Every cell of your body, lighting up your force field, lighting up with your love and light. And declaring this is your field. Inviting in Mother Earth, grounding through the feet, and feeling. Oriki moho kaya chaya siki ho ya ni hayo ho ya hi mahia ho ya hi ni ho hi ya ho. Just taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Just noticing where you're at in your process. If there's some sounds or anything else that needs to happen within you, she wants you to kind of take it over. What do you notice?
Just letting go of this resistance that was coming up, and just like letting it sort of drain out and letting movement come into its place and clearing. It's like this last sort of contraction before expansion.
Mhm. And check in if it feels complete or if there's a little bit more there that wants to come through, and I can support you in that, or if you want to do it.
There's something in the heart that feels afraid.
Mm. Mhm. How does your highest version of yourself want to respond to that?
To sort of cradle it
Mm.
and just kind of soothe it,
Mm.
receive it, accept it.
Yes, yes, yes. So would it be okay if we all just support you as you do that work with it? And so everyone in the group can really just like hold the sacred space and beaming their love and light as you support this part of you.
That sounds
That feel-
lovely.
Yeah, Shimotaya Taya Somokaya. Utashika tamasakaya sikia shamahatai yakaya o yamoho kayashia ha yasa. Yeah, I see her like stroking her hair and like like almost like mothering you to take care of this version. So just feeling all of our like this divine mothering, I feel like flowing through to you, and coming into your full power. What do you observe?
Just a receptivity and an opening. And
Yeah.
something about taking non-resonant love because I was feeling starving, and then realizing how different that feels from nourishing love. And just sort of a commitment in that heart space to the nourishing love.
Mahishikia sayamota ya haya kato yashayatama yataya katasha. You are never ever alone, and you are so, so loved always. Always. You are held by the divine mother is here with you always. So whenever you need, just allow yourself to feel her swaddling you, and you can relax into her. I just feel like through me, she's like hugging you and kissing your face and stroking your hair, like, oh, dear one, welcome back home. It's so good to nourish you and love you up. Which is so much love and affection for you, dear one.
Yeah.
Does that feel complete or anything else?
It does, yeah, just sort of basking in it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Feels like you gave it to her to do, which is lovely. Both of you were wanting to do that. Your guidance was, and then helped facilitate. Olivia doing that. So it was an empowering process, it seems.
Yeah, it's so weird. My human was just planning to like, I felt like I could just do it
Mm.
for her. And I just got a big NO when it started. It was like, we're not going to do it that way, Carrie. It
Yeah.
was very clear that
Mhm.
that was wanting to come through for you.
Well, it's teaching them how to fish, it's
Mm.
it our sense is it supports you, Olivia, in knowing you can do that.
Mm.
Like you've gained agency
Mhm.
with things like what you're dealing with through spirit inviting you to do it rather than doing it for you. And yeah, the human part goes, well, I could just do that. But the guides are more, it's like they don't really care about outcomes. It's about empowerment.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think I had tried doing it many, many times, but having that container and like that support of being with others felt really beautiful. And I at the end saw this like kind of pink swirling tunnel kind of coming out of the third eye, like it's with some spaciousness in it.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. So, anything anyone wants to check in about this process? We have 5 minutes. We only have about 3 minutes for check-in, but is there anything you want to share or say? Liz?
I just want to say real quickly that I'm keeping quiet in the channeling part because I'm not feeling it. Last time I tried to channel and it was really more of just what I thought. So I'm just trying to listen more, and just so you know, I just don't feel I hear things but not I think that I don't know where they're coming from. I think it's coming from me, my mind, and it's not channeling. So I just wanted you to.
So I'd suggest that there's value in listening, and you might notice if what's coming through gets reflected in someone else, which would help you to know that that may have been wisdom wanting to come through. And sometimes the best way to actually do the channeling is to go ahead and open your mouth and see what happens.
Okay.
Because you can't really know until you start sharing it.
Okay. So I'm scared. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most things worth doing are worth doing scared.
Right.
I have a whole video about that on YouTube. Almost everything worth doing, you start scared.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we really want everything that comes to be accepted. So the guidance is really just to help support you in dropping in deeper. Anything else?
I just wanted to say I'd love to do this again. I love it so much.
I kind of want to check in with you, Heather, because I know you've also shared a bit less. Is it working for you to do this, or?
Yeah, and sometimes I get things, but I don't speak. So that's happening too. Like just now I had something for Olivia, but didn't feel like there was time for it. So I forewent sharing. But yeah, I'm also taking it into I'm also having like my own sense of like discerning, like, yeah, just a lot of my own thoughts that I'm not sure I want to share. So, but I'm taking it all in. So
Good.
thanks for checking in.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, sometimes just go ahead and speak.
Okay.
I almost wanted to say at one point, let someone share who hasn't shared, and maybe I will another time.
Yeah.
Because for me, I almost never can ask a question when I'm in a workshop or a training because I'm thinking it through and someone else jumps in, and then I'm working on it, someone else jumps in, and I just don't jump as fast. So I almost need that at times for people to say, whoever hasn't shared, please share. So I might do that again. Yeah. Diana? And
I
then
wanted,
you.
yeah, I wanted to share that initially, when I started to share, I was thinking it was just my own thoughts, but I know that the channel comes through you, so it's gonna feel like your thoughts,
Mhm.
especially at first, and then once I opened my mouth, it came through. Also checked in first and so on, but initially at first I thought, well, I'm going to share, but I'm not sure if what I have to say is just me or if it's actually channeling. I just wanted to let you know that that's very common, and it doesn't mean that it's not working.
Right. So I said Nina, but we only have a minute. Is that okay to let it go? Okay. Because I don't want to run over, but I would love another hour of this. So let's complete with our guides, and then I have a question and we'll close. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Deep gratitude to the Council of 12, to all the radiant beings who've come to assist us, who've made themselves known to us, and who are there waiting to make themselves known to us. We welcome the highest, brightest, most radiant of you to continue to offer guidance and direction to everyone here in the ways that are for their very highest good. We release you. Thank you, Evelina. We thank and bless each one of you. Let's bless each other. I bless you. I release you. And in the crown, I release you. I receive my energy back. Third eye, I release you. I receive my energy back. In the heart, the throat, I release you with love. I take me home. In the heart, I release you with love. Take me home. The third, I release you with love. Take my energy back. Second, I release you with love. I receive me back. And the first, release you with love. Wrap your energy around you. Calling in your light, outline your field so you're in your own bubble of light with your inner layer of your arc field full of light. My question is, I don't see us as channeling every time in this way, but I'm hearing some people want to do more of it. So how many would like to do more? Please raise your hand. How many would like to do maybe one more time out of the next 4? And how many feel done with this practicing and would rather go back to the council responding to people? Okay. So we'll do some of each. And we might have a time where the council is responding more, and then people might really get a sense of guidance coming through. But it'll be a little different than this. Okay. Excellent. So thank you. We'll honor our time. Bless you all. Let's do one om just to come back. Ready? Full breath in. Blessed be.